Twilight over the sea. The truth behind the Golden Cruise. Chapter 1. The Golden Invitation. The sea was unusually peaceful. Each time the sunlight shattered on the water's surface, thousands of golden fragments danced brilliantly. Above it, a massive cruise ship slowly emerged. Golden Cruise, a vessel that shone golden, true to its name. The ship's exterior was as smooth as freshly polished marble, and the sunlight reflecting off each window painted the sea. Jung-ok stood at the pier, gazing at the sight. Though well past 70, her eyes held a girlish excitement. "This is where I'll be staying," she murmured to herself. As she entered the boarding passage, the air changed. A breeze carried the faint, synthetic scent of lavender. And in the lobby, a chandelier sparkled like dazzling stars. The marble floor was so smooth, it seemed to swallow even footsteps. "Welcome, Ms. Jung-ok." A smiling crew member bowed. A golden emblem gleamed on his uniform. "Your cabin is a suite on the 18th floor. It has floor-to-ceiling glass windows facing the ocean." When the elevator doors opened, Jung-ok drew in a breath. Golden handrails, white marble walls, and soft classical music. It was as if a luxury hotel was floating on the sea. When she opened the cabin door, white curtains swayed in the breeze. Below her feet stretched an endless blue ocean. The bed looked like a cloud wrapped in fabric. And on the small table lay a card reading, "Welcome, Ms. Ko Jung-ok," with a bouquet of flowers. "It really is like a movie." She smiled and pulled back the curtains. The horizon beyond the window swayed gently. The wind was warm, carrying a scent of peace and stability, underlaid by a subtly sickening sweetness. Jung-ok stood before the mirror. Though the wrinkles of time flowed quietly across her face, her eyes were as vibrant as in her youth. "So I get to come to a place like this," she whispered to herself. Min-woo must have worked so hard. Still, such a good son. On the vanity lay a notice reading, "Today's program. Wine tasting 5 p.m. Yoga meditation 7 p.m. Sunset classical concert 9 p.m. Below it was a small phrase, "A day on the Golden Cruise becomes your new life." She read that sentence and smiled for a long while. A new life. Perhaps it really would be. Around lunchtime, as she headed to the restaurant, soft piano music flowed out. Glass goblets sparkled on each table, and outside the windows, a long blue line where sky and sea met stretched endlessly. A server approached and asked, "What would you like for your first day's meal?" I'll have something light, a salad today." Her voice was as soft as a gentle smile. When the food arrived, the fragrant herb scent tickled her nose. She slowly lifted a glass of wine. So peaceful. The moment she set down the glass, a low vibration sounded from somewhere. The ship's hull trembled ever so slightly. But no one seemed to notice. The waiter was still smiling. And the guests dismissed the tremor as merely the ocean's mischief. Then, at the edge of Jung-ok's vision, a woman in black clothes passed by. She was exchanging something with a staff member in a corner of the dining room. Their eyes met briefly, but she soon looked away. Strangely, Jung-ok couldn't shake that gaze from her mind. It seemed to say, "This place is not what you think it is." She looked out the window again. The sea was still beautiful. A perfectly peaceful sea to the very end. But within that perfection, a very fine crack existed. Jung-ok did not yet know. the dark abyss that single, fine crack would open. That night, the ship quietly began to deviate from its course. And Jung-ok's life would never return to what it was before. Chapter 2. Cracks in the Gold. Morning sunlight spilled through the glass into the room. Jung-ok sat by the window drinking coffee. The morning over the sea was still perfect. The waves swayed gently, and the distant horizon glowed peacefully. She set down her coffee cup and murmured, "If I could grow old in a place like this, I'd truly be happy." A knock came at the cabin door. Room service. When the door opened, a staff member in a white uniform entered. On the tray were fruit, yogurt, and a small medicine bottle. "What's this?" When Jung-ok asked, the staff member politely replied, "It's a health supplement provided to all guests. Formulated by the ship's medical team based on personal health data." She hesitated for a moment, then opened the bottle. Inside were 2 small white pills. They looked like nothing more than cold medicine. The staff member smiled. "They're for immune and cognitive function improvement. Take them every morning." The door closed, and silence filled the room. Jung-ok stared at the pills in her palm. Then slowly dropped them into her glass. Bubbles rose as the pills dissolved, staining the water ever so faintly. She watched the glass for a long while, but ultimately did not drink it. Around lunchtime, she headed to the cruise's Sky Garden section. The glass ceiling was transparently open, and flowers bloomed under artificial sunlight. Jung-ok walked slowly, thinking, "It really is like paradise. But why is it so quiet?" When she turned her head, she saw a young woman in caregiving attire in a corner. Black bobbed hair, blue shirt, eyes clear but somehow sensitive. She was measuring someone's blood pressure when suddenly her eyes met Jung-ok's. "Hello. You're new here, right?" "Yes. I arrived yesterday." She smiled and extended her hand. "I'm Era. I work on the medical support team." The moment their hands met, Jung-ok felt a strange warmth. Cold hands, yet strangely warm. "Have you been working here long?" "Yes. For quite a while. But longevity here does not equate to comfort." Era briefly looked away. Most of the elderly guests seem happy, but sometimes it's too quiet. The words passed by casually. But a corner of Jung-ok's heart trembled subtly. "What do you mean by too quiet?" "Just that. Strangely, when night falls, everyone seems asleep. It's too quiet." Era trailed off. That night, Jung-ok couldn't fall asleep easily. She lay with the cabin lights off, but her mind was strangely clear. A very small vibration sound came from outside. Woo, a low, rhythmic, almost conscious mechanical hum. She sat up. Outside the window was only starlight. But somewhere beneath the sea, faint lights flickered. Then, slow footsteps walking down the corridor were heard. Talk, talk, talk. Regular but heavy, echoing eerily in the night air. Jung-ok peeked through the door crack. 2 staff members in white gowns were pushing a cart with something loaded on it. Though covered, something silver and distinctly coffin-like glinted on the cart. "What is that?" Her heart pounded. As the staff turned the corner and disappeared, silence descended on the corridor again. She carefully closed the door, murmuring, "Something's definitely wrong. This place is hiding something." The next morning, the sky was still clear, and music flowed as before. But to Jung-ok's eyes, everything looked slightly different. The smiling crew members' faces, the breakfast table food, they all felt like actors existing within a predetermined script. She looked toward a corner of the restaurant. Era was there, a tired shadow cast over her face. Their eyes met again. This time, Era didn't bow her head. With barely moving lips, she soundlessly articulated a single phrase. At night. Never go out. Jung-ok felt her breath stop for a moment. When she looked up again, Era had already left. After that day, Jung-ok began to hear strange sounds from beneath the sea every night. It didn't take long for her to realize they weren't simply engine noises. Chapter 3. The Sound Beneath the Sea. Jung-ok woke up again in the pre-dawn hours. Strangely, her sleep was never deep on this ship. When she closed her eyes, she could hear a low, humming vibration from somewhere far away. Woo! At first, she thought it was the engine noise. But now she realized the sound was too rhythmic. She pulled back the curtain. Moonlight spread silver over the dark ocean. However, beneath the surface, a faint blue light was flickering. It was as if someone were sending a signal from the deep sea. Jung-ok placed her hand on the window and gazed at the light. A strange pounding echoed in her chest. What could that be? The next morning, Jung-ok headed to the medical office. She had been bothered by the pills they distributed every day. "Do I really have to take this medication?" she asked. The staff member smiled briefly and replied, "It's regulation. Your dosage is recorded automatically." "Recorded automatically?" "Yes, health data. Don't worry." As the staff member turned away, Era was watching her from across the medical room. Their gazes met for a moment. Era quickly checked her surroundings, then handed Jung-ok a small note. "Meet me in the aft garden this afternoon." Jung-ok cautiously went to the garden after lunch. Sunlight poured through the glass ceiling, shimmering gold. The scent of flowers was strong. But a subtle, strange odor was mixed into the air, the smell of disinfectant. As soon as she sat on a bench, Era approached. The fatigue was clearly visible on her face. "Something's wrong here, Ms. Jung-ok." "Wrong? What do you mean?" Era quietly turned on a tablet screen. Countless graphs and numbers were moving across it. "This is the guest's health data. Blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, and even cognitive response speed are being collected in real time." So what? Real-time monitoring systems are common these days. The problem is, this isn't for treatment, it's for experimental data. Jung-ok's hands trembled. "Experiment? What are you saying?" "I thought the same at first. But there's an abnormal reaction category in this data. And next to some guests' names, it says, sleep." "Sleep? That means they are subjects who have been discontinued from the experiment." The wind blew. Flower petals scattered, and a sudden chill ran down Jung-ok's spine. "Then where are those people now?" Era bit her lip briefly. "I don't know. There's a section on the lower level of the medical deck that I can't access. The documents only refer to it as Sector D Laboratory." Jung-ok stared blankly at the sea. In her view, that blue light flashed again through the gaps in the deck structure. "I see a blue light under the sea every night. Could that be Sector D?" Era nodded. "Probably. That light is the medical data transmission line. They upload the data to the server every night. So, if we cut that line, we could stop what they're doing." They met each other's eyes. Era let out a small breath. "But it's dangerous. The staff aren't just service personnel. Half of them are security team. This ship is only a hotel on the outside, but inside, it's a prison. Jung-ok clenched her fists. Still, we can't just stand by and watch. We have to do something. Her voice trembled, but a firm resolve was embedded within it. Era slowly nodded. All right. Tomorrow night, I'll tell you the location of the server room. We have to leave evidence to the world then. For the first time, Jung-ok felt an emotion stronger than fear. It was anger. That night, she couldn't sleep. The humming vibration sounded again in the darkness. Woo-woo, this time, within the sound. Something like a human breath was mixed in. Jung-ok quietly opened her eyes. She knew now that she could no longer remain a peaceful traveler. The following night, they began to move toward the server room. One single attempt, and one single message to leave to the world. All truth now rested on a single wire inside that ship. Chapter 4. Silent Transmission. The night was deep. All the lights were extinguished, and the cruise ship was quietly stopped. In the middle of the ocean, not even the sound of waves could be heard outside. It felt as if the entire massive vessel was holding its breath. Jung-ok put on a thin jacket. Before opening the door, she looked around the room one last time. The quiet bed, the tidied tray, and the pill bottle left on the table. She pushed it away with her palm. It has to end now. The corridor stretched long in the darkness. The wall lights flickered, shining intermittently. She walked cautiously. A few steps later, Era appeared from around the corner. A black jacket, a flashlight, and a small tablet held close. Are you ready now? Yes, if not tonight, we won't get another chance. They headed to the emergency stairs instead of the elevator. The metal stairs slightly resonated under their feet. The air changed as they descended the floors. Machine oil, disinfectant, and the smell of seawater were mixed together. Sector D is down here. What's down here? The server room, and the experimental zone. Era pulled a keycard from her pocket. As she inserted it into the terminal next to the door, a brief electronic beep sounded. A moment later, the metal door clicked open. Before them, huge glass tubes were lined up. Blood samples, drug ampules, and cooling equipment were connected to each tube. The space, illuminated by white fluorescent lights, was not a hospital nor a research facility. It was a cold laboratory itself. Is this the same ship we were on? It is, but you've only seen part of it. Era operated the touch panel on the inner wall of the door. A blueprint showing the server's location appeared. E-deck, end of the hall. That's the main server. They walked slowly along the wall. Their footsteps echoed like an internal sound. A warning light flashed once in the distance, but no one came. Finally, the communication server room. The steel door bore a sign that read, "Authorized personnel only." Era composed herself and inserted the keycard. A moment later, the door opened, and a cold, chilling wind swept past. There it is. In the middle of the room, dozens of servers were blinking with red lights. At the center, one communication port was open. Era connected the tablet. Now, we have to send everything we've seen. By email? Yes. We can bypass the security network and transmit through the satellite link. I only have 10 minutes of access left. Jung-ok handed over the USB she was holding. Here, the records you told me about earlier. I put all the blood sample photos in here. Good. Era quickly began uploading the files. The screen displayed the words, uploading. 12%. The breathing of the two women grew increasingly ragged. The number climbed as time passed. 45%. 67%. 82%. Just then, a loud thud of vibration echoed in the distance. Jung-ok's eyes widened in surprise. What was that sound? We've been detected. An alert goes off the moment we access the communication network. Ara's fingers trembled as she continued typing. 93%. 96%. Right at that moment, the power shut down. The entire room plunged into darkness. The server lights went out, and the screen displayed, connection lost. Era gritted her teeth. No, the transmission hasn't completed. But did we send it? Only half the file went through. Just the title is left. The intermediate data was cut off. It's still fine. Someone will see that and start looking. Jung-ok's trembling hands reconnected the power line. However, the alarm began to sound. Wee-oo, red emergency lights flashed. And the steel door automatically locked shut. Era looked at Jung-ok. We can't get out of here now. No, we must get out. You. Jung-ok grabbed her arm. If even one of us survives, the world will know. Footsteps outside the door grew closer. Server room detected. Secure the area. The metal door began to be forced open. Light streamed in. Jung-ok turned off the tablet one last time. It's sent. Someone must have received it. The email transmission record, showing only the file name, remained in her hand. The recipient was Yoon.m at prosecutor.go.kr. Her son, Yoon Min-woo. The email was clearly transmitted. However, half of the file was missing. And from that moment on, all trace of Jung-ok vanished within the ship. Chapter 5: The Glass Wall Laboratory. Jung-ok opened her eyes. The first thing she felt was the cold. It was not the cold of the sea, but an artificial chill rising from the metal floor. As she opened her eyes, bright white fluorescent lights filled the ceiling, and a steady beep-beep electronic sound was heard near her ear. Tubes were inserted into her arms. A transparent fluid slowly flowed into her veins. Each time the fluid moved, she felt a pain like ice spreading beneath her skin. Era? Her lips moved weakly right beside her. Era was lying on another bed. Her eyelids were half closed, and her wrists were restrained with medical straps. Jung-ok surveyed her surroundings. Glass windows were set into each wall, and beyond them, various machines and drug containers were visible. It was a space designed not for people, but for data. She's awake. A voice of an unfamiliar man was heard. He was wearing a mask and gloves, holding a chart. Subject 117, vital signs stable. Proceeding to drug infusion stage. What are you talking about? Where am I? This is the test zone. You are one of the chosen. Chosen? Anti-aging experiments. Memory restoration programs. Nerve regeneration research. This vessel is the stage for all of it. The man smiled coldly. Thanks to you, a new era will arrive. As his words ended, cold metal touched Jung-ok's wrist. A syringe. She instinctively twisted her body, but her wrists were restrained by leather straps. As the injected fluid entered her bloodstream, the world shook in a haze of white. Stop it, please. Her scream hit the glass wall and vanished. The medical team adjusted the machine without a word. White room, white people, white sound. Everything was expressionless. After how long had passed? She heard a voice in her faint consciousness. It was Era. Ms. Jung-ok. Era, you're alive. The email it went through. I'm certain. I remember the upload sound, the ding. That sound. That was the transmission complete signal. Jung-ok slowly opened her eyes. Tears welled up in her eyes. Then someone saw it. Yes, your son. He will definitely see it. The two women grasped each other's hands. Their fingertips were cold with fear. But the warmth of connection was undeniable. Now we are the evidence. Ara's voice was low but firm. We must survive. Before this ship swallows us, we must remember this ship. At that moment, a mechanical sound blared from the speaker. Sector D3 drug response 45% entry. Subject transfer preparation. The door opened, and white light poured in. Jung-ok closed her eyes. Only one sound remained in her consciousness: email transmission complete. That short tone remained like hope. Even amidst all the pain, the men approached and moved the beds. Wheels scraped against the metal floor. Her gaze followed the ceiling light. And beneath it, a streak of blue light flickered. It was identical to the light she had seen beneath the sea. As if someone were sending a signal to her. At that moment, in a prosecutor's office on land, an email arrived on Prosecutor Min-woo's computer. The subject was Golden Cruise Life Data Zip. And the attached message was only one sentence. It's Mom, help me. Chapter 6: The Signal from the Sea. It was 1:40 a.m. at the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office. Special Investigation Division. Prosecutor Min-woo Yoon pushed aside the files piled on his desk and took a sip of coffee. Just then, a ding sounded from the corner of his monitor. He glanced at the screen. Sender Jung-ok, subject Golden Cruise Life Data Zip. Instantly, his eyes hardened. Mom? He clicked it open immediately. Only one sentence was written in the email body. It's Mom. Help me. Min-woo's heart pounded fiercely. After staring at the screen for a moment, he slowly moved his finger. Downloading file complete. But the moment he tried to unzip it, an error message appeared. File corrupted. Partial data only recoverable. The recovered content included a few graphs, drug administration logs, and several photos. One photo captured Min-woo's attention. His mother wearing a medical band on her wrist at the time of boarding. The text at the bottom of the photo read, 117 test phase. He immediately ran a tracking program, following the email's origin path. Satellite coordinates appeared. Latitude 33 XX, longitude 128 XX. South Sea, Korea offshore. The South Sea? Min-woo murmured in disbelief. The Golden Cruise was currently advertised as sailing the Caribbean Sea. Videos of tourists smiling and enjoying parties were uploaded daily to the news and official social media. But he quickly spotted something odd. The people in those videos were smiling in fixed poses and expressions. Scenes perfectly repeated, like a commercial film composition. Min-woo froze the screen. Then, he zoomed in on a frame showing his mother's back. His eyes widened. The shadows don't align. The shadows in the video all stretched at the same angle. The shadows were consistent, even though the time and location should have been different. The footage was completely fabricated. Min-woo immediately cross-referenced the publicly available coordinates with ship location data from another computer. The Maritime Navigation System, AIS Automatic Identification System. His fingertips trembled. The Golden cruise ship isn't registered in the AIS? He checked the email logs again. Sending time, satellite frequency, transmission path, all pointed to the South Sea in international waters. Min-woo stood up from his chair. The ship isn't in the Caribbean. He quickly shut his laptop and made a phone call. Chief Park Jin-soo, I need an urgent trace. I need the actual location of the Golden cruise ship. Dig through the AIS private network, if you have to. At this hour? That involves diplomatic jurisdiction. No time to worry about jurisdiction. This isn't missing seniors, it might be human experimentation. Silence followed. A low breath could be heard over the receiver. Fine. Give me 10 minutes. Min-woo hung up and turned his computer back on. He stared intently at the photo of his mother remaining on the screen. His fingertip slowly traced the monitor. Mom, that one line you sent. I will bring it out into the world. A few minutes later, Chief Park Jin-soo's message arrived. Found it. The ship in the Caribbean is a decoy. The real Golden cruise vessel is anchored in the South Sea international waters. It's stationary with its engine off, subtly transmitting data. Min-woo held his breath. Subtly transmitting data. That meant she was alive. Mom, she's still on that ship. His voice was shaking. He quickly accessed the court's internal network. He typed a single command line onto the screen. Urgent warrant request for seizure and search. Target of investigation: Golden Cruise Group headquarters. Charges: illegal medical data collection, human experimentation, elderly identity information leak. Min-woo transmitted the document, then quietly whispered, "Now, I must go to the sea." At that very moment, in the South Sea international waters, Jung-ok and Era were being transferred to the final stage of the experiment. And on land, Yoon Min-woo's first seizure warrant was signed. The truth was beginning to rise above the waves. Chapter 7: The Boundary of Life. Jung-ok opened her eyes. The first thing she felt was the cold. It was not the cold of the sea, but an artificial chill rising from the metal floor. As her eyes adjusted, she saw bright white fluorescent lights on the ceiling, and the steady beep-beep of an electronic monitor near her ear. Tubes were inserted into her arms. A clear liquid slowly flowed into her veins. Each time the liquid moved, she felt a burning pain, like ice spreading beneath her skin. Era? Her lips barely moved. Right next to her, Era was lying on another bed. Her lips were pale and dry, but her eyes were very much alive. Where are we? Phase 3, Era whispered. The final stage before drug infusion. Ara's voice was weak but clear. Beyond the glass wall, figures in white gowns moved. They looked less like people and more like parts of the experimental equipment. Subject 117, neurological response stable. Subject 118, prepare for drug administration. Jung-ok's fingertips trembled. Era, are we? Is this the end for us? Era shook her head. No. The email went out. If it reached someone, this ship can't last long. Jung-ok closed her eyes. Then, let's hold on just a little longer. Seoul Central Prosecutor's Office, Min-woo Yoon's temporary investigation room. Satellite maps and data logs were displayed on the wall monitors. He was with Coast Guard, Cyber Investigation Team, and Foreign Affairs officials. Coordinates confirmed. One unidentified vessel spotted anchored in the South Sea international waters. No name, but the hull length, tonnage, and exterior all match the Golden Cruise main vessel. Official track record? None. AIS signal is suppressed. Min-woo held his breath, staring at the screen. A single red dot was blinking in the middle of the ocean. That's the location. An investigator rushed in, holding a report. Prosecutor, server restoration is complete. We secured some medical data and network logs. Content? It's all been deleted. However, he hesitated. There's a final transmission log. Someone inside the ship sent a message externally. Min-woo looked up sharply. The time? 2 days ago, 2:41 a.m. That time was the exact moment his mother's email had arrived. We're receiving no signal from inside the ship now. But power supply is continuously maintained. Min-woo quietly murmured, that means someone is still alive in there. His eyes changed. It was the moment of decision. Prepare the Joint Entry Command with the Coast Guard. We are seizing the dummy company headquarters and the vessel simultaneously. Someone asked, what if they've already abandoned the ship? Min-woo shook his head. No, an abandoned ship does not maintain power. There's still someone alive inside. Phase 3 infusion initiated. Injection commenced. The liquid slowly coursed down the tube. Jung-ok gritted her teeth. A burning pain, as if her body were on fire, rushed over her. But she did not close her eyes. Then the ship shook. Thud. It was the sound of something massive striking the hull. The warning lights flickered, and the medical staff began to scramble. What's going on? External access signal. A Coast Guard surveillance vessel is approaching the vicinity. The director's face went white. Delete all data. Initiate immediate transfer. Jung-ok staggered and grabbed Ara's hand. They're here. Min-woo is here. Are you sure? Yes. That alarm, that's the sound of the ocean door opening. As the medical staff fled and the automatic door was about to lock, Jung-ok used her remaining strength to push herself off the chair. She ripped the restraints from her wrist and shouted, Ara. We have to get out. Ara looked up. Tears welled in her eyes. You must survive, Ms. Jung-ok. This isn't the end. Outside, the sound of a metal door being breached rang out. Bang bang, Coast Guard. Everyone freeze. The door flew open, and through the pouring light, Jung-ok saw a silhouette. That familiar face. Min-woo? She smiled weakly. It's over. As he held her in his arms, tears streamed down Jung-ok's face. Her tears mixed with the sea air, shining as they washed away. The ship's final secret. That morning, the Golden Cruise vessel was seized under the command of the Coast Guard. The evidence found inside shook the medical and political spheres to their core. And Jung-ok and Ara, the two women, finally returned to land. But the sea still held the memory of that day's silence. Chapter 8: The Dawn Sea, and Life After. The dawn was seeping over the South Sea horizon. The cold waves slowly began to absorb warmth, pushing back the shadows of the night. The Golden Cruise vessel, now stripped of its name, was tied up at the pier. Its golden paint was peeling, and police tape instead of its former lavish lights wrapped around the ship. After that day, countless news reports shook the world. Golden Cruise, allegations of elderly human experimentation. Fake tour program, real-life medical data collection. 37 individuals, including the chairman, detained. Television covered the incident all day, but Jung-ok watched none of it. She did not need headlines of anger or statistics. She sat by the window of a small seaside hospital. Sunlight settled onto her arm, which was wrapped in a medical bandage. The light felt warm, as if the sea were embracing her once more. The door opened, and Min-woo entered. Dressed in a black suit, he hesitated before speaking softly. "Mom, the chairman's trial ended today." "I see. And the result?" "Life imprisonment." She nodded. "That's enough then. I ask for nothing more." Min-woo sat beside his mother. They looked out the window in silence. The white, breaking waves, and the faint silhouette of a vessel beyond them. "That ship, it's going to be dismantled soon, they say." Jung-ok smiled at Min-woo's words. "It should be. It was never a vessel for people." A few days later, Jung-ok was discharged. She opened a small seaside cafe with Era. A warm atmosphere always lingered in the place, where the scent of coffee mixed with the sound of the waves. The two women smiled as they served coffee to guests. Occasionally, when a guest mentioned that incident, Era would smile gently. "People still fear the sea, but I now believe it is where life begins again." Jung-ok nodded and added, "Only those who survive the boundary of death truly know how precious life is." Meanwhile, Min-woo remained at the prosecutor's office. He worked quietly, avoiding media attention. Then, one day, an envelope was placed on his desk. Sender Era Jung-ok. Inside the envelope was a single Polaroid. Two women stood in front of the seaside cafe, smiling, holding coffee cups. A short sentence was written on the back. "The sea has made us whole again." Min-woo stared at the photo for a long time. Then he smiled quietly. In his smile, there was more peace than sorrow. He opened the window. The wind brushed past the papers, scattering them. Through the wind, the sound of the waves could be heard from afar. The sea swallowed many things. But in the end, it never abandoned human dignity. In the twilight of that day, someone finally learned to live again. Epilogue: the end of twilight, the beginning of dawn. The sea of life is never quiet. Some days, a fair wind blows, and other days, a storm rages. In those moments, we must hold the helm, holding fast to the ship of our lives. Jung-ok and Era, those two women, faced death upon the ocean. They never gave up, even in the hell created by someone's greed and ambition. Why? Because at the center of their hearts lay the human will. Simple yet strongest: I want to live. To survive is not just to breathe. It is to open your eyes to the world again. Even after being wounded, even after the world has collapsed. That is what true life means. Jung-ok looks at the sea again. That sea is no longer a memory of fear but a symbol of new life. Era says, "I am no longer afraid of the sea. That sea made me reborn." Min-woo handled many cases after that day. But the world was no longer divided into black and white for him. He learned that justice resides not only in law books, but in the smallest choice made to protect someone. Time flows, and the sea remains in its place. Today, someone is sailing upon it, and someone is learning about life beside it. And the one thing we must remember: the truth never sinks. No matter how deep the ocean is, darkness cannot overcome the light. The sea swallowed many things. But in the end, it never let go of human dignity. At the twilight's end, someone finally met the dawn.